Demon Knights number 23, written by Robert Venditti, art by Phil Winslade. So this is the final issue of the series. And last issue we had the Holy Grail was of course found. They accidentally let it loose, and the issue ends with Horsewoman is now able to walk. Also, a bunch of giants are being led on attack on the city by Vandal Savage. So this issue picks up with Horsewoman being like, oh my god, I can stand. What's going on here? And we see everyone's just like, I don't know, this is like something crazy. This is beyond science. There's no idea what this could be. And Sir Euston pops in and is just like, no, guys, this is the Grail. Like, look at all this grass and like forestry that has popped up just in the Grail's presence. It's a healing thing. Heck, I'm not even affected by vampires anymore. Look, my bite's gone. And Exoristos is super happy about that and starts hugging Sir Euston. And as soon as they manage to clear their minds for even a second, the giants start firing away with their cannons again, and everyone starts getting blown up, and Algebir's like, oh, right, that's happening. So what can we do to stop that army? And everyone starts throwing out plans of like, well, will the walls of your city hold? And he's like, not against them, they're giants. Like, that's an issue. And finally, he comes to a little bit of an idea. He's like, okay, hold on, I do have a tiny little thought. I'm going to need your help, Xanadu. Everyone else head out to the front lines, join the cavalry. And Exoristos is like, okay, but if we die here, if this is the end, Algebir, I left a box here, and it's probably giving you a lot of trouble. I left it locked up. I have the key. The key is yours. I entrust you with its horrible, horrible power. So at that point, we see them all make their way out to the front line. Jason Blood is like, yeah, I guess I need to call up Etrigan, don't I? This is kind of his deal. All right, let's go. He transforms into Etrigan. And Sir Euston tells all the knights around, like, nobody worry, the demon fights with us. And Etrigan's like, no, I don't. And he's like, well, Xanadu's up helping Algebir, so you got to fight with us for her. And he's like, ugh, fine, whatever. So they open up the gates. They go out. They approach the oncoming giant army. A lot of men are knocked down. A lot of them are unable to fight against, but the Demon Knights come up. Exoristos smashes one of them in the nuts with her hammer, and we see one of them is holding a giant cartoon-style bomb, like the black circle with a wick coming out of it. And Vandal Savage is still stuck in his cage, and he's like, oh, I watch out for the demon, you guys. And they're like, what? And then Etrigan lights the bomb on fire, which causes a huge explosion that also seems to destroy Vandal Savage. Wink. So Sir Euston and everyone else attacks, and they say like, oh, it's too hard down here on the ground. They're giants. They can just stomp us. We need some way to attack from the air. And at that point, Algebir comes in. He's made balloons. And he's using Xanadu's magic to basically guide the winds so that they can fly into place. And as they fly over top of the giant's reach, they throw down a volley of arrows so that the giants can be attacked from above. And some of the giants like throw up hammers and stuff like that. They knock a few balloons out of the sky. But for the most part, they take out a few of the giants and manage to make their escape. And the cavalry goes back into the walls, and Xanadu says, okay, part one of your plan is done. The cavalry is safe. Now what? And Algebir opens up the box that Exoristos left, and inside is the Black Diamond. And he's like, all right, if this Black Diamond does what I think it does, this should work out. And Xanadu sees the Black Diamond, feels its effects, and just punches Algebir in the face. He drops the Black Diamond down on the ground beneath, and she's like, I'm sorry, you did that thing just immediately made me angry. And she's like, no, it's cool. It's what I was going to do anyway. So one of the giants picks up the Black Diamond on the ground, and immediately all of the giants just get immediate bloodlust and tear each other apart. They're just strangling and hitting and choking and stabbing. All of it. Horrible. And Xanadu's like, oh, Jesus. Okay, so this was your plan? You were just going to turn them all on each other so they kill each other? And it's like, yep. Hopefully they do that. So they all manage to fight to a standstill. Just like one or two giants left, and then they just take out the remaining giant. Etrigan, Sir Euston, and Exoristos watch on, and he's like, oh yeah, remember Satan was the one? Lucifer gave us the Black Diamond? Hey, Etrigan, when you go back to hell, tell Lucifer how he actually managed to protect the Holy Grail. And Etrigan's like, oh yeah, that's going to piss him off. I'll totally do that. So Etrigan goes back, Jason Blood transfers, and he's like, oh my god, you guys won. That's awesome. So They question why Al-Jabir wasn't affected, and he's like, I'm far too logical to be impacted by such emotion. And so they go back out onto the battlefield. He picks up the black diamond, and he's like, I have an idea. I want to try something. So he goes back into a back room, and everyone else just looks at the battlefield. They're like, well, guys, we did it. And they see the cage where Vandal Savage was, and it's like, maybe we even got rid of Vandal Savage. Wink. So they get called back in by Al-Jabir. Exoristos is like, I know what this is for. You're upset I had the black diamond here. I'm sorry. I promise I will take it and I will guard it myself. And Sir Houston's like, no, but then I can't be with you. And she's like, oh, it's the way things must be. I am forced to live a life alone. And Al-Jabir's like, actually, no, I'm totally smart enough. I came up with a thing. And they go into a back room that nobody knows about. And sitting on two pedestals across from each other is the Black Diamond and the Holy Grail. So because the Holy Grail is for life and good and justice and nobility, and the Black Diamond is evil and hatred and anger and violence, because the two are exposed to each other, they cancel out each other's effects. So the room isn't overgrown with forestry or life or anything like that, and the Black Diamond doesn't make anybody want to kill each other. So as long as they're kept together, everything's cool. So Al-Jabir says, like, yeah, no, we'll just keep this here and nobody will know about it, and it'll be safe in my walled city. And they say, cool. But we still need to find out who these enemies that Merlin was talking about, because I'm pretty sure he wasn't talking about the giants. Who's after the Holy Grail, for real? We have to go out and find that out, maybe even by finding Merlin himself. Let's go, Demon Knights. And they actually say Demon Knights as they ride off into the sunset. That's the issue. I mean, just to stop and not talk about this specific issue for a second, the series as a whole, fantastic. This has always been a fun series. I can't say there was ever really a period in it where I thought it was on a downturn. If anything, the first arc of it was the weakest, and it only got stronger over time. But even then, the first arc was great. It was a fun time. It was just a bit confusing at times to figure out, like, alliances and whose people's names were. But once you get that locked down, this was great. This was a fantastic book overall. So, for this issue, I think it does a good job of wrapping up all the plots. We have the giants were taken care of, and it didn't feel like it wasn't unearned, and it used a little bit of everybody. We had Etrigan doing part of the fight, Horsewoman did something, Al-Jabir did something, Xanadu did something. It all came together. It felt like an earned victory, and in the end, we managed to actually bring back the Black Diamond, which, frankly, I never wanted to see again, but hey, here we are. So, all things considered, solid read. I enjoyed this book. I'll give this one an 8. Not much more to really say about it. If you haven't checked out Demon Knights, I know that it is out of print and it is extremely hard to find, but if you can find it, it is well worth the read. So Demon Knights is a thumbs up from me.